দেখুন তো আপনার ঘড়িতে টাইম কি 6:30 বেজে আছে?
পুরো ডট।
ডট। ও আচ্ছা। এখন আপনি Good morning, everyone. A very, very good morning to all of you. So we are meeting at 6:30 in the morning today for what I call topic of the day, right? So, topic of the day. First of all, 6:30 in the morning. Is it early morning? Is it late morning? So some people will say 6:30 is very, very early in the morning. Some people will say that 6:30 is probably not that early in the morning. So first of all, how do you define early morning, right? So we say early morning and the early hours of morning. So how do you define early morning? So I think a fair definition of early morning would be any time which is just before the sunrise, right? So everyone has their own definition. Those who like to get up late, they will say that even 8 o'clock is early morning, and those who get up very early, for them 4 or 5 o'clock is early enough, right? But I think if you consider an average response of any person, they'll say that early morning is the time just before sunrise, just before the sun rises. So today, the topic of the day, I mean, that's what this session is all about. I'm calling it topic of the day. So you'll see that in the YouTube channel, there is a playlist section and there are various playlists: chemistry MCQ, physics MCQ, maths MCQ, and I have made another playlist called topic of the day. So I intend to give small inputs to all of you on certain topics which definitely concerns all of you a lot, right? And the topic for today is why you should get up at 4 a.m. every day. That is the topic for today. So before we start talking about 4 a.m., we need to just firstly define what is early morning. So like I said, that by average estimates, or if you consider the standard, you would say that anytime just before sunrise is early morning. Okay, so say it could be 5:30 a.m., it could be 5:45 a.m., it could be very close to 6 a.m. depending on the time of the year. So the time of sunrise keeps varying, right? So what is it about sunrise? So what's the big deal about sunrise? So there is the belief in whether you call it spiritual or whether you call it cosmic energy, whatever it is, but there is a belief that a sunrise brings with it a lot of energy. It brings with it a lot of positivity, right? So sunrise is not just a spectacle to behold. Of course it is. I mean, there are a lot of people, they have won photography prizes for, brilliantly capturing the sunrise through their photography. So definitely it is a spectacle to behold, there's no doubt about it. And if you watch the sunrise at certain places, it is truly an amazing sight. But apart from that, sunrise brings about energy, positivity, and overall it is said to bring about a balance to your constitution, whether it is mentally or physically. So sunrise has its own virtues. I mean, if you watch the rising sun, that has its own virtues. So certainly getting up before sunrise and watching the sunrise has its own positive effects. There's no doubt about that. So that would be a point to start off this discussion, that if you get up before sunrise, right, everybody likes to start the day on a positive note. So you don't like to get up from bed very groggy and especially very not very, you could say, nonchalant about the affairs of the day, and at times even not really looking forward to the affairs of the day, right? Even that could be the case. So you would not like that. You would like to start off the day on a positive note. Irrespective of all the stresses that go along with studies, about your planning of your studies, your education in general, various things, you would like to start the day off on a positive note. So it makes a lot of sense to get up before sunrise, so that you can, of course, take in the spectacle of the sun rising, and at the same time you also imbibe the energy and the positivity of the rising sun. Whatever inputs I'm giving to all of you, these inputs are by way of my own personal experience, okay? And probably the fact that I was also a student at one point of time, and I have gone through a lot of situations which students keep going through, and I found my own solution to those situations. And as a teacher, I feel that if I share my inputs with you, it may definitely help you in the long run. So first thing, let us be very clear that it is really, really advantageous and beneficial if you get up before sunrise. There's no doubt about that, right? So getting up before sunrise is a huge positive thing. Now, if it is such a positive thing, then why not do it every day? Why not do it every single day, right? Now, the other thing is that if you consider that whenever there is any kind of an exam, any exam, whether it is your exam related to the board or to the institute where you're studying, the school or college. So whenever there's any exam around, suddenly your body clock undergoes a drastic transformation. So you become night owls, you virtually stay awake the whole night, or at times you do very weird things like you go to sleep very late, set up the alarm and then get up very early. So all sorts of strange things we start doing when exams are around the corner. And the truth is that when exams are around, our constant focus is to try and give our best, right? Why are we doing all these strange things before exams? I mean, we are not really bothered about sleep cycles. We are not bothered about what time we are getting up, what time we are going to sleep. Any time is okay as long as the target is achieved, right? Somehow get all the stuff inside your head so that you can reproduce it in the exam. So we go to extreme extents in order to achieve our goals, and students are known to study throughout the night, maybe go to sleep, like I said, late and get up early, and get up at odd hours, go to sleep at very late hours. So these kind of strange things we do before exam, because our endeavor is to deliver our best in the exam. We want to make sure that we don't leave any stone unturned, that we should be at our best when we are giving the exam. So the point is that is it possible to do that every day of the year or every day of the week throughout the year? Is it possible to do that? I mean, what you're doing during your exam, can you imagine yourself doing that throughout the year? Like, can you imagine yourself, studying around the clock, studying virtually through the night, maybe the whole night, or maybe go to sleep late and get up early? Can you imagine yourself doing that throughout the year? You can't, right? Nobody can. So there is no way in the world you can do such a thing throughout the year. It won't sustain, because you will burn out in no time, right? So the point is that so let's come back to why we do it. So we do it because we want to get the best possible result in the exam. So our target is that we have to anyhow get the marks that we are looking for, right? In most cases, we look for full marks. Depends on the exam. There are some exams where full marks is not achievable. But then yes, we do aspire for something very close to full marks all the time. So that's why we do that, right? But imagine a situation where you don't have to do all of this. You just have to do the same kind of thing every day, and it will not, it will not upset your balance in any way. For example, you will not be overworked, you will not be stressed out, and you will be at your best every single day, right? So what kind of a routine is that which will make you give your best every single day? And understand that where is this coming from? I have just told you that we believe that we are at our best during the exam. So we work round the clock, we try to cram in as much as possible, try to revise everything in a very short amount of time. And just after the exam, we are not able to do anything close to that, right? It becomes a matter of the past. So I am trying to say that instead of having a routine like this, why not have a more basic routine which is much more scientific, much more balanced, and which you can sustain throughout the year on a day-to-day basis. And the routine which I'm talking about is a routine which has to be taken purely on a day-to-day basis, right? So you should not have an elaborate or a fancy timetable that I'm going to do this much work in this many days, or I'm going to finish this much work in this much period of time. In most cases, what happens when you make a very elaborate, long drawn timetable, you always fall short of your own expectations. That is what happens most of the time. You make a very, very complex timetable, you say that I will do this, that, and sometimes it's the other way around. You don't make an elaborate timetable, but you just get up in the morning and you say to yourself that today is the day, I am going to finish this, I am going to finish that. You sort of make all these forecasts in your mind about what you are going to do throughout the day. And sometimes even that also falls apart. It doesn't go up to your expectations. And when these kind of things keep happening, what does it lead to? It leads to cramming before the exam. So ultimately, these chain of events, they bring you to a stage where the exams are around the corner and now you're just cramming stuff before the exam. So let's be very clear about one thing. Cramming stuff before the exam is never a good option, because you will never be able to do justice to every part of the syllabus. There will be some compromise. And there's another issue. You might have worked very hard in a particular chapter, sorry, you may have worked very hard in a particular chapter. Say a month before the exam, you may have worked very hard in a particular chapter. You may have worked very hard. You may have done a lot of sums. It's a mathematical chapter. You have done a lot of sums. You have really done that chapter very thoroughly. And now, when the exam is there, you are finding that you are trying to cram that chapter, which you really worked hard, you put a lot of effort, you are trying to cram everything you did in that chapter in a short span of time. So, are you doing justice to the hard work which you did? So, let's say there's a very difficult chapter of maths, and a month before the exam, you solved the whole chapter, you solved every single sum, right? And then, when the exams are around the corner, and then you realize that you need to revise the whole syllabus, and this particular chapter in which you put so much effort, you are just trying to cram everything, so much so that maybe a few important sums here and there you even overlooked it, and you thought that I have to do my best because the exams are there, right? So I think that is a very wishy-washy way of going about your preparation. So added to which, it brings about an imbalance to your state of mind. The physical part of it strains you like anything, right? So I think I would advocate a more basic approach where you don't really have a fixation on timetables, you don't have a fixation on how much work you are going to do in a particular day or in a particular week. Or rather, I am suggesting a routine by which you simply make a plan for the day, a very realistic plan, knowing your weaknesses and strengths. Make a realistic plan. If you envisage that you can do only one exercise in a day, don't make a plan that I will finish the whole chapter in a day, right? Suppose there's a chapter in maths which has 4 exercises, and you know that your capability is to do one exercise in the day. So don't make a plan that I will finish the whole chapter in a day. When you know your strengths and weaknesses, you act according to your strengths and weaknesses. But the point remains that what kind of a routine will help us to achieve this? What kind of a routine? So ask yourself, what kind of a routine are you maintaining now? If you ask yourself honestly, most people, a majority of the people, so I'll say, let me say more than 50% of the people will say that they don't have a clear-cut routine, right? Their routine is dictated by situational circumstances, like I have to, be ready, I have to wear my uniform, I have to attend the classes. So their routine is dictated by that. They do not have a routine of their own. There is no preset routine. So the routine is dictated by, okay, I have a tuition now, right? I have to attend this class now. Okay, this class is getting over now. I have to finish this project now. So the routine is dictated by what you're supposed to do and not what you would like to do or what you're planning to do. And that is what this session is about. So what kind of a routine am I talking about? Now, this is my proposal, and I have imbibed it and it has worked for me. I told you whatever inputs I'm sharing with you, they are inputs based on my personal experiences. I have taken feedback from past students. I have shared these opinions with past students and they have tried it and it has worked for them. So this is my belief that if you understand that the positivity and the energy of sunrise is something which you would like to imbibe, so that will definitely do wonders for you for the whole day. And prior to that, if you need a head start, right? So you have seen the rising sun maybe out of your window or your terrace or whatever, and you have got the positivity out of it, but before you do that, you need a head start. So you need something which will propel you throughout the day, and that is what I say is a time to yourself, right? A time for self-realization, a time for self-assessment, a time to introspect. And it has been seen purely by example that some of the great minds and some of the industrialists, scientists, etc., right? They would often start very, very early in the morning, right? So there is something about early in the morning which brings out the best in your faculties, in your mental prowess, understanding that you have some strengths and weaknesses with all your limitations. You can be the best according to your potential if you make an early start to the day, right? You can give your best if you are starting the day early. Now, there is no way of assessing whether you are giving your best every single day. There is no marker or there is no exam by which it can be assessed that you are giving your best every single day. But if you make an early start to the day, then what happens is that you are giving yourself a head start and you are giving yourself the cushion, right, to absorb any shocks. For example, there's a surprise test in your teacher has announced a surprise test, or maybe suddenly you're supposed to submit something, okay, at the last minute. So all these shocks will be absorbed by you very comfortably if you can give yourself the time to introspect, to analyze what you're supposed to do for the rest of the day. So this is my proposal, that if you get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, right? So 4 a.m. in the morning, believe you me, okay, and I have tried this myself, and there are a lot of, like I said, I don't know whether there is any scientific basis for this, there might be, but I know for a fact that I can name one person who is renowned scientist, Nikola Tesla, and he is considered the pioneer of alternating current, and he used to start the day at 3 a.m., right? There are so many other people like him. So if you start the day at 4 a.m., then what happens is the period of time from 4 a.m. to sunrise, right, is the time when you sit and introspect, you chalk out what you would like to do throughout the day, and in a realistic manner, right? You are not having any expectations out of yourself beyond the fact that you know that once that morning thing is done, you will have to brush your teeth, you will have to get ready, you'll have to wear your clothes, maybe go for your classes, maybe sit for online classes or whatever. So that is a period of time when you are likely to set realistic goals, and don't look beyond that particular day, and set a realistic goal for yourself. And because your mind will be at its best, your mind will respond the best. Like I said, there is probably no scientific basis for this, but this is a tried and tested method, and you will be able to deliver the goods in terms of setting up your routine for the rest of the day. Now let us say you get up at 4 a.m. and you start deciding what your routine should be for the day, and you have somehow managed to make a routine for yourself. You had a look at your agenda for the day, okay, your classes, everything you saw, and you have managed to make a routine for the day. Once you have done that, then you have some amount of time left to you in the morning. You can start acting on whatever you have planned. Don't be like, I have decided what I want to do, so now let me do it as the day progresses. No. You don't have to procrastinate, and you obviously that rising sun thing is there, but beyond that the rest of the morning is available to you. So once you have chalked out what you would like to do, you should start acting on it, right? And if you start acting on it in that time of the morning itself, then by the time you are completely ready to become socially present, as in you maybe going for your classes, or maybe wearing your uniform, or whatever it may be, okay, you are completely in control of your thoughts, you're completely in control of your situation, and you know exactly how to plan the rest of the day. And not only that, you can even manage your tiredness, whether you're feeling fresh of mind, whether you're feeling tired, you can even control that. For example, if you feel you need to catch up on your sleep, then you will go to sleep maybe in the afternoon with the realization that you need that sleep to correct the sleep cycle, and then you will get up and then resume. See, to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, ideally you should go to sleep before 10 p.m. Most people don't do that. Most people don't go to sleep before 10 p.m. So if you get up at 4 a.m., in spite of whatever time you're going to sleep, you will need a correction in your sleep cycle. Even that will be under your control. Now imagine you don't get up at 4 a.m. Imagine you don't get up before sunrise and you get up at any particular hour of your choice. So in that case, you may fall. I'm not saying that you will, but or rather, maybe I should preempt the conversation from your side that if you feel there are times when you keep on contemplating what to do, but you never end up doing anything. You keep contemplating, I'll do this, okay, no, I'll do that, no, I'll do this, I'll first do that, I'll do half of the day maths and half of the day this subject, whatever. You spend a lot of time in contemplation, but you actually don't do it at all. You contemplate, but you don't fulfill your goals. So that situation appears to be a very common situation with a lot of people. And the problem is that, again, as I had told you about few minutes back, that you will start making unrealistic goals for yourself. I'll finish this whole chapter, or I'll complete these chapters in this week. So you'll make very unrealistic goals which are not achievable. So ultimately, what will happen is that you will be in a situation where you will keep falling short of your own expectations. And if that keeps happening again and again and again, then you will fall into the trap of going through the cycle of events which are thrust upon you. So if you are told to be ready for your class, you will be ready for the class. If you are told to go to some tuition, you will go to some tuition. If you are told to be ready and do your project, you will do your project. If you are told to prepare for the exam, you will prepare for the exam. And you will just go through these in a very mechanical way, right? So there is no planning involved. You are just falling into the cycle of events which has been thrust upon you. You yourself have nothing pre-planned. There is nothing programmed by your brain to achieve, right? And eventually, when this keeps happening, you will fall into the trap of cramming before exam. So when the exam is around the corner, you will find that you have continuously fallen short of your expectation, and now the time has come when you need to catch up on that. And how do you do that? By doing abnormal study hours, which a lot of people do before exam. So the point of this session today is to convince all of you that number one, you should get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. Why? Because if you get up at that time of the morning, then your mind is in a very peaceful, balanced state. You have no anxiety, no stress about the rest of the day. Rather, you have a lot of margin to plan what you need to do for the rest of the day. And you can take your own sweet time to plan. You can contemplate, you can meditate, whatever. You can do any of those things. But it is the time which is completely your own. And till the time you have decided what you want to do, you just keep contemplating, introspect, maybe write down what you're thinking, okay? And there's no rush or hurry, right? And it will come to you in a very natural way, because somehow, like I said, there is no scientific basis, but at 4 a.m. that the state of the mind is something like on high alert, in spite of the fact that you have just got up from sleep. That again is a state of the mind. We feel that putting an alarm and getting up means that you will never get up feeling very fresh. If you set an alarm, we feel that setting an alarm means that we are forced to get out of sleep. That's what we feel. But that is again a state of mind. It's something you just need to get used to. So you get used to this routine. You get up at that time of the morning, and you chalk out what you want to do for the rest of the day. Number one, okay? So I'll just write it down. So you get up at 4 a.m. and chalk out your schedule for the day. You chalk out your schedule. Decide what you would like to do for the rest of the day. Number two, you act on it. Okay? Act on it. Don't postpone. Now, this is very, very important because at that time of the morning, you are completely on your own. There won't be anyone else around you to tell you what to do and how to do it. You are on your own. So, if you have decided a certain schedule for the day, then you start acting on it. Don't postpone it for later. Don't be like, okay, I'll have a look at it. I have made up schedule, now I'll have a look at it later in the day. Don't do that because this is the time which is entirely your own. So if you have made a schedule, let's say there's a chapter in maths which has got 5 exercises and you have made a realistic goal that you will finish 3 exercises. So as soon as you have decided, you act on it. That means in that morning time only, you have made your schedule. You are more or less satisfied that your schedule for the day is ready. Now you start acting on it. You start doing those 3 exercises then only, right? And most important thing is, like I said, the sunrise. This is important because I told you sunrise brings it with it energy and positivity. So that is something which is good for you. So you shouldn't give it a miss. I mean, you might say that why do I need to do all this? It's all sounding very complicated. But if you think this is complicated, then how would you compare this with what you are doing before the exam? That is way, way, way more complicated, and actually that is not overall very healthy way of learning. It's more like cramming. It isn't learning, it's more like cramming. So that is number 3, right? And what happens is that if you make this a habit, if you make this a habit of doing it every single day, day in and day out, then you will auto correct your sleep cycle. Like initially what will happen, you are a person who is not used to getting up at 4 a.m. So initially it will be a struggle for you. Over a period of time you will realize that you either need to sleep early. Now, in case you can't sleep early, in case you cannot sleep before 10 or at 10, then you will have to correct your sleep cycle by sleeping in the afternoon. So that will come to you automatically. Like say for example, there is some reason, it could be a personal reason, like say your entire family has dinner at 10, then what do you do? I mean, you can't go to sleep at 10. So you will correct your sleep cycle on your own, right? Because your body will demand rest and you will understand that and you will try to correct your sleep cycle on your own. The other thing I have not spoken about is that some people like to study till very late. Okay, some people like to do that. So I just want to give one suggestion to all those people who like to study late. Okay, like there are a lot of people, in fact majority of the people like to study late. If you make a comparison, early risers versus late sleepers, if you make a comparison, there is a disproportionately larger number of late sleepers. There are very few early risers. Early risers are not many, okay? So those of you who like to go to sleep late, okay? So I have a suggestion, okay? You just ask yourself that are you satisfied with what you're doing that long into the night? So deep into the night, like till 1 o'clock or whatever, 2 o'clock, you're staying awake. Are you satisfied with what you're doing? You ask yourself, okay. Now, if you say, yes, I'm satisfied, actually, then I just have one suggestion to give, that try to stay awake till 4 a.m. Just stay awake till 4 a.m. If you feel that if you feel that your actions are justified, going to sleep late, it is justified, you feel that you're convinced that going to sleep late is right for you, then just one suggestion I'll give you, try to stay awake till 4 a.m. right? You will see what I'm talking about. How your mind responds and reacts at 4 a.m. will be different from how it responds and reacts at any other time of the early morning or the late night. So just give it a try. If you feel that staying awake late works for you, then well, good enough. Then that means that it shouldn't be a problem for you to stay awake till 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. Well, then stretch it to 4 a.m. you experience it, go through this experience, that how does it feel to be awake at 4 a.m. Go through that experience and you decide for yourself what is better for you. Those of you who are late sleepers, and you don't have to admit it, because I do often get queries from parents that the child is staying awake till late at night, but we have no clue what he or she is doing. So this is a very, very common complaint which comes from parents. So my suggestion would be that those of you don't have to admit it to anybody, but those of you who feel that you're staying awake till 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and it is not really helping you much, if you feel that way, okay, you need not openly admit it, but if you actually feel within yourself that no, it's not very helpful, I mean, beyond a point, you are just whiling the time, you're just looking at the books, then I think you should completely stop staying awake late, and you should try to sleep early and get up at 4 a.m. So these are the two suggestions I want to give. You see, there is a very big issue with staying awake late. Okay, what happens is when you get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, your mind will tell you to do something, then something positive, something proactive. Like I said, make a schedule, right? But when you sleep late, then it's kind of the opposite. That time what happens, you get a bit of hunger pangs every now and then. You tend to sort of pat yourself on the back. Oh, I have stayed awake till 1 o'clock, I have stayed awake till 2 o'clock, as if you have done something great. Okay, it is not an achievement. Staying awake till 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock is not an achievement, right? What work you do in that time is what matters. So you start patting yourself on the back that I have done something, I have done wonders by staying awake till 2 o'clock. So these kind of psychological issues are involved if you try to stay awake late. So staying awake late, I wouldn't recommend it, but most people do it. So my suggestion to those people who stay awake late and who have benefited by it, lot of people have benefited by it. My suggestion is just stretch your study time till 4 a.m. and experience the positivity of early morning and decide for yourself what is best for you. I will not tell you categorically to suddenly overhaul your entire routine and transit to this new routine. I will not say that. But experience it. Do not deny yourself the experience of that early morning positivity which starts from 4 a.m. in the morning. Don't deny yourself. Okay, it is good for you. So why is getting up at 4 a.m. so important then? To summarize, all the things which lead to negativity, like not able to plan the studies, okay, making long timetables but not being able to achieve them, and cramming before exam, like studying like crazy hours before the exam, sometimes getting up from bed or going through a situation with a guilt conscience that have I done enough, I am not doing enough, I haven't studied enough. Sometimes students have a guilt conscience just after the exam that, oh, my exam is over, but I don't think I did so well, I think I should have done better. And that guilt conscience again happens because there is no balance in your approach, right? Your approach is highly skewed. Either it is completely nothing or you are cramming stuff before the exam. So these kind of things are all negative, right? You don't need any negativity. None of us needs it. We thrive on positivity. We seek positivity, right? In everything, in our in our pursuit, our career, our relations, we seek positivity. So the most positive way to start the day is to get up at 4 a.m. And once again, those who those who are habitually early risers, you can just prepone the time of getting up to 4 o'clock, before the time that you're getting up. Those who are late sleepers, just try this once, experience it. If you want, you can give me your feedback also, and then we can take the matter further. But definitely you have to experience it, getting up at 4 a.m. And those who are late sleepers who feel that it's not really helping them, for heaven's sake, don't continue this late sleeping. because if you do things like watching mobile, social media, or any kind of gaming, if you're doing that, believe me, that is a part and parcel of staying awake late at night. Staying late at night brings in all these negativities, like distractions, hunger pangs. Every now and then you feel like eating something, and distracted mind. You are trying to focus, but then your mind is getting distracted, because psychologically you are only patting yourself on the back for staying awake late. So you are not so much focused on your output or your work or your goals. You are more like, I am staying awake late, I am staying awake late, so I am doing a lot. But that is all doesn't count for anything. On the other hand, if you get up at 4 a.m. and from 4 a.m. to sunrise, you make your schedule for the day, you plan what you want to do for the day, and once you make the plan, you start acting on it. So if the sun rises at say 5:45, for example, okay, so from 4 a.m. to 5:45 a.m. is like 1 hour 45 minutes. So in 1 hour 45 minutes, you have made your plan for the day and you have started acting on it. On the other hand, a person who goes to sleep late, there is a possibility that that person is completely tired by 12, like midnight, but just because he or she has decided that there's no point going to sleep early because I'll get up late in any case, so that person will just try to fill in the hours, and then the distractions will start coming, right? And that's not going to help in any way, right? So this is a very important thing that I have told all of you today, and definitely you should consider giving this a try. If you have never tried it, try it once. Like I said, the only thing that may worry you or bother you is your sleep cycle. Believe me, we human beings are designed in such a way, our sleep cycle undergoes auto correction. So if you go through the process, you will auto correct your sleep cycle. For instance, if you go to sleep early, then it's very good, then you can complete the cycle and get up at 4 a.m. But if you go to sleep a bit late, like past 10 p.m., which most people do, then your sleep cycle needs a correction. Maybe you can catch up with your sleep in the afternoon. But you will be completely in control of what you are doing, as opposed to you being in a confused state, not knowing what to do, groping in the dark, chalking out plans without achieving them, not doing anything for half of the day and making absurd targets for the rest half of the day. So these are things which you don't need to do. And imagine that whatever I am asking you to do is between 4 a.m. and sunrise. So that's a very small portion of the whole day, but it makes a big impact. It will impact the rest of your day in such a positive, in such a powerful way that it simply cannot be compared with any other time of the day. So I hope that I have been able to convey my inputs to all of you, and these are all my personal experiences. Needless to say, I am neither discouraging nor dissuading, the people who go to sleep late. I am just merely trying to suggest that let us try and be the best that we can be. Let us try every single day to be at our best, instead of trying to have a very average existence on a day-to-day basis and then trying to become like a superhero before the exam. Instead of that, every single day, let us be the best that we can be. And if we can sustain it, then even during exams, we can do the same thing. So when your exams are there, you get up at 4 a.m. When there is no exam, you get up at 4 a.m. As simple as that. And then you are automatically the best that you can be. You are at your best all the time. You don't have to listen to queries like, you have underperformed. Why? You have done below your expectation. Why? You have got results below your potential. Why? You do not have to listen to such queries, because you... So, you do not have to hear such queries, because you are in complete control of yourself. You have chalked out your routine. You have figured out the essence of what you're going to do for the rest of the day. And the most beautiful thing about this routine is that you're only thinking about that particular day. You're not thinking about the next day. You're not thinking about the next 7 days. It's the most beautiful thing. Why, I'll tell you. Suppose you make a plan to finish 3 exercises of a chapter and ultimately you finish the whole chapter. So you have gone ahead of your expectation. Isn't that a wonderful state to be in? So I think we are in a constant denial of something which is really going to help us a lot. We are trying to avoid something so basic that it doesn't make sense. I mean, why are we doing it? Why are we avoiding this nice routine and falling into the trap of monotony? Do this, do that, almost like a machine. Why do you want to? I mean, we do need to do certain things mechanically. I mean, that is something we can't avoid. But every single action cannot be mechanical. Some of it has to be by planning, some of it has to be by your own volition, right? And that is what the essence of this session is. So get up at 4 a.m. every day and give your best that whole day and every single day by getting up at 4 a.m. So if you are at your best every single day, there's nothing more you can ask from yourself, nothing more anyone will ask from you, right? And it will put to rest all other concerns like overall how are you doing, and overall what are your shortcomings, because you have decided that you are not worried about the overall at all. You are worried about that particular day and what you can achieve on that day, and perhaps there is nothing better than that, because that is in your hands. The whole day is in front of you and how you will manage the day is in your hands. So I'll conclude the session and I hope that these inputs will be of some use to all of you, and I'll catch up with you in similar sessions on weekdays at 6:30. Okay, bye all of you. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.